Laos Tzu Chi volunteers hold first of many aid distributions that will benefit nearly 500 affected households. Tzu Chi will build a new school for the Morelos students in Mexico at their brand new campus location. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Lori Chen. Thank you for joining us. In Laos, after Tzu Chi volunteers conducted flood damage assessments, they held their first of many aid distributions, benefiting nearly 500 affected households. In addition to Tzu Chi volunteers, local entrepreneurs and some affected residents also came out to help. They all hope that the survivors can receive the aid supplies in a timely manner and get through the tough times.
乡亲安居及生活等需求，提供必要的协助。面对这一次的灾难，让我们看见人类在大自然面前的渺小，期盼人人敬天爱地聚福缘。
Early in the morning at the aid distribution site, people have gathered to help out.
他们本来是灾民要来领物资的，但是因为我们的
These affected residents came to receive aid supplies. However, since we lack volunteers, so we asked them to help out. They will direct the recipients. After all the people have received their aid supplies, then these helpers will get their supplies at the end.
这些志工啊，愿意在最后的时候再来领物资的。
I hope to help out so that the distribution can run more smoothly. I'm very happy today. I hope everyone can receive their needed supplies today happily.
I'm very happy today to be able to serve the villagers. Although I will be tired, but I will work hard.
I was not feeling comfortable. After having the bed, I should feel more comfortable.
The volunteers feel touched seeing the smiles on the faces of the affected residents.
I've never felt so touched. I have a sense of fulfillment. I think love transcends language barriers. They can sense our gestures and understand how we care about and love them.
We can communicate by looking at his eyes and through our interaction. Our hearts go out to them.
Tzu Chi Foundation is distributing in Laos for the first time. Considering the affected residents' transportation problems, they've decided to distribute supplies at 2 venues. There will be a morning and an afternoon distributions. This time, a total of 500 affected households will receive blankets and Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds.
Many employees of entrepreneurs, companies, and volunteers from 4 countries have gathered here. They are here to serve the residents of Laos.
Tzu Chi volunteers from Taiwan, Thailand, and Malaysia work together with volunteers of Laos to hold the aid distribution. They even deliver their love and care to the residents' homes.
After the distribution, we go to their houses to find out if these residents have problem using the blankets and Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds.
Watching the disaster on TV and YouTube is nothing like coming here to really work with the affected residents and see the seriousness of the devastation.
As the Tzu Chi volunteers deliver aid supplies and care for the affected residents, they've also brought hope to the people who are waiting to rebuild their homes.
Staying on the topic of the flooding in Laos, Tzu Chi volunteers from neighboring countries have formed a disaster relief team, transporting Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds and blankets from Thailand. However, the distribution date has been postponed as the roads are still badly damaged. Despite all the difficulties, Tzu Chi volunteers continuously do their best to overcome any challenges presented their way. Now that is the true Tzu Chi spirit.
In southern Laos, Sonamsa of Atapu has been severely flooded.
I do not know why I could not fall asleep at night. I heard the sound of the water rushing in. It sounded like strong winds.
My house is low. When it flooded, the water was all the way up to my neck. I escaped to my friend's house.
The flood devastated several villages. Around Sonamsa government office, affected residents have been taking shelters in tents.
Viewing the devastation from the sky, we realize that it is much more severe than we imagined.
Tzu Chi volunteers have treaded on the muddy road to enter the tent areas to deliver love and warmth.
We should do our best to comfort those that we can reach at the moment.
The volunteers are not just from Taiwan. The charity groups from Laos and Thailand help with cooking, while some other people transported the supplies by trucks.
We feel down seeing the residents suffer like this. Therefore, we gathered the strength of the government and civil groups to cook hot meals for the people here.
The small hospital in Samnamsai is simple and basic. On average, 4 babies are born here every day. More than 100 patients line up to seek medical attention at the clinic, which is divided by canvas piece.
This is a hospital, but it's very small and their equipment is very low quality, and medicine too. We can help them.
We are grateful to the charity organizations for helping the affected residents.
As Tzu Chi volunteers assess the damages, they also visited the government officials to understand the needs of the affected residents. Tzu Chi volunteers have prepared Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds and blankets. However, the distribution date has been postponed as the roads have been badly damaged. Seeing how a large number of residents have been displaced, Tzu Chi volunteers are determined to overcome the difficulties and continue to deliver the much-needed aid to the affected residents.
Turning our cameras back to Taiwan, both the Taipei and Taichung Tzu Chi hospitals set up multiple free clinic stations in all the flood-stricken areas in Tainan. They hope to provide the much-needed medical services to the affected residents, especially in the areas where they are lacking in resources.
Helping villagers to see the doctor also comes with a reminder to pay attention to their nutrition. His wife accompanies her husband as they thank the doctor for his care.
The doctor is very good. I feel that his service was very good. All of us are farmers. You care about us farmers.
The farming family is very hardworking. After the flood, they were busy cleaning their homes and their physical health suffered.
Now I can't turn my neck to either side. I've lived till 90, and without teeth, I can't digest food, and joint pain makes it hard to move.
Floods aggravated the pain of those in the area, with Tzu Chi operating Yensui, Suijia, Beimen, and Matou. After setting up 9 clinics and 1 mobile medical service with 181 medical personnel mobilized, many gave up their holiday to perform this service.
There's not much for me to do at home. This is how I pass the time, as doing this can help others, and I can share my professional skills to help others.
Seeing so many elderly people, I felt that everyone frequently needs our care.
My grandma is also 90. She's also hard of hearing. My Taiwanese is not so good. This makes it hard to communicate, but I can feel their kindness when talking with them. It's like talking with my grandma at home.
A father and son works together.
My little Bodhisattva is doing his first year of residency as an emergency room doctor. Today he has a holiday. We're very happy to invite him to service.
Tzu Chi hospital staff have gathered together to provide service in these disaster areas, making sure that all flood survivors are given access to care and support, as well as compassion.
Staying in southern Taiwan, there is a 96-year-old grandmother who lives alone in Jiayi. During the flood, her house was completely submerged. The firefighters came to help her evacuate, but she wouldn't budge at all. It took a lot of persuading and pleading before she finally went to one of the local shelters. Tzu Chi volunteers quickly went to comfort and accompany her to go see the team of doctors. The grandmother has finally agreed to stay at the local nursing home in the time being. For the past 10 days, the grandmother lived in this small space. She's very homesick and especially misses her little puppy. She insists on going back home. Unfortunately, the grandmother's home is still surrounded by water. If volunteers want to go in, they must find their own way.
要再进去一点。你先走看看，小心哦。好，可以。可以吗？可以。妈，你有吃饭无？吃袂落哦，想哪？有高啊！啊，考前我还跳退是爱讲。这个一边靠一个。啊，那边靠一心头，别心头。你来讲话，你多爱买啊，多爱陪我就等来。
On the day of the flooding, it took a long time for the firefighters to persuade the grandmother to evacuate her home.
As long as it rains or flood. A while back, the soldiers wanted to help her get out of the flood zone, but she kept on saying no.
After the volunteers repeatedly begged the grandma to think of her health, she finally agreed to go to the free clinic so that the doctors can take a look at her feet.
The grandma has a room all to herself at the nursing home, and there's also another makeshift shelter area next door. We have distributed some Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds and hot meals. The grandma had some herself.
The grandma had finally accepted the arrangements of the village chief. She will stay temporarily at the local nursing home and will go home once her house has been properly cleared and cleaned. Unfortunately, heavy rains are still in full effect. There are still many areas where the flooding has not receded yet. That's why Tzu Chi volunteers continue to enter the community to conduct home visits. One of the affected residents is an 82-year-old grandmother who fell when the floods came. She has been bedridden ever since and refuses to move or speak to her foreign caregiver. When the volunteers visited her, she was finally able to smile and speak. She even got out of the bed so that she can interact with everyone. What a big difference that made. The volunteers walked through every road and narrow alleyways in the affected areas. They discovered a solitary grandmother who had many wounds on her legs. When the floods came, she was deeply frightened. Fortunately, the grandmother is physically tough and safe. The volunteers came to care and comfort her. Sending emergency financial aid, letting the grandmother feel at ease. The volunteers went to every household to care for the affected residents. The grandmother, who is in her 80s, lives with her foreign caregiver. The rain made her take a nasty fall, and she has been lying in bed ever since. That's until the volunteers came. The foreign caregiver was so excited and relieved because ever since the grandmother fell, she has been bedridden. The stress has been weighing on her for days. She's very thankful for the volunteers because the grandmother is finally willing to get out of bed and speak with others. The Instituto Morelos in Huejutla was badly damaged in the strong Mexico earthquake last year. The school has more than 200 students and can only rent classrooms at the moment. This isn't an ideal situation because there actually aren't enough classrooms to go around. After Tzu Chi volunteers learned of this news, they started to consider reconstructing the school. However, there was a very generous donor who offered up a piece of land. So Tzu Chi will now build a brand new school at the new campus location, hoping to give the children a peaceful and secure place to continue their studies. In 2017, after a strong earthquake in Mexico, the school building was badly damaged. In order to allow students to continue their studies, after the disaster, the school rented classrooms in a different area.
In reality, we are facing some difficulties. The number of classrooms isn't enough, and we cannot have more than 20 students in each classroom.
This school with more than 200 students is now facing a shortage of classrooms. So there's a dilemma that they don't want any of the students needing to stop school. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers began to arrange for a full-on reconstruction project. Originally, the volunteers were planning to rebuild the school in the old place, but a gracious donor came forth and donated a whole lot to the school. This land has now become the new school campus.
We have already visited the new campus area, and the design has already been mapped out. We are hoping this time that they will sign the MOU with us. They're very grateful to Tzu Chi that we're going to build them a new school at this new campus.
The new school campus located at the junction of 3 different towns. For the students, not only is transportation convenient, but also the campus secluded, allowing them to study in peace. Talking about the youth generation, Mainong's 10-year baseball plan has produced 4 national players in the past 7 years in Taiwan. For example, Fu Yuhen, who graduated from Mainong Elementary School, represented Taiwan in the August Pony League World Series in the U.S., winning first place for the country. What an honor!
Kaohsiung City's Zhongzhen Primary School team was invited to the United States to participate in the Pony League World Series, ultimately winning the World Championship.
We all worked very hard this year. We just won the championship.
The pitchers adjusted very well. They were able to string together consecutive hits.
We just followed the coach's instruction to achieve our best performance.
It's worth it because we've trained for so long.
Behind the oar of the World Championship is a long trail of sweat and tears. This is Fu Yuheng, who is a member of the national team but was trained by the Mainong Elementary School.
They do more exercises and a higher amount of training.
The baseball field is like a battlefield, and Fu Yuheng is the only representative from Mainong.
Do I feel like giving up? No, I think that it would be a waste because I've been playing for so long now.
I want to let them know that the process of training, they will have to work hard. They may not be able to get first place. Actually, the whole process of training is very important.
Practice from day till night, doing hard work that few others see. Yu Heng is from a single-parent family. He has a sister and a younger brother. His family is not rich, but his mother is not afraid of hard work to support her son's dream.
I tell him not to worry about playing. I'll just add some extra hours of overtime. He's often sore when he comes back. We also use these medicated patches.
Before, I had a bad attitude. When parents picked on me, I would lose my temper. The coach told us not to be like this, because our parents are our biggest supporters.
From the Mainong countryside to the big city, from national champions to world champions, their most valuable growth experience has come from this baseball field. Number 14 is Liu Yanxiang. This year, the second national team player trained in Mainong. However, an injury before this international competition prevented him from competing.
When playing defense, I slipped into one of my teammates. When practicing, it's painful, but I think that I can play again.
Despite the pain, he feels even stronger. The strength may come from his Hakka ancestry in the Mainong area. After graduating from the Mainong Elementary School baseball team, nearly all of them go on to play for the Mainong Junior High team. This is a national qualifying event, and Mandarin and other languages are interspersed on the field.
I want them to learn our native language, so I often emphasize this and I say things often. and ask them if they understand.
We hope that at the end of this 10-year plan, we can start another 10-year plan, giving Mei Nong another chance.
Hitting the ball is the goal of all those who play baseball, but for these young, brave competitors, the most valuable thing may be the training and the courage just to be here and taking part in the game played out on this baseball diamond.
Tzu Chi helped 2 academic scholarship recipients continue their studies. One wanted to work to support the family, but is now an outstanding student in Hunan Communication Polytechnic. His cousin has also been accepted into a local high school with excellent grades. Volunteers visited them before the start of the school year to give them some words of encouragement.
Volunteers traveled across mountain routes to get to Longdong village in Lianhua town in Hunan province. This is where Tzu Chi academic scholarship recipient Zhang Wenya lives. They carried a box of high school textbooks for her to familiarize herself with school materials.
点交兵甄学，你喏还是高兴噻？
那当然高兴噻，是天天讲的噻，是。他在这里学习，所有老师他也来过来到我里。
Zhang Wenya was guaranteed admission into Changsha Tianjiabing Experimental Middle School because of her outstanding academic performance, and her family is very proud of her. Her mother died of cancer when she was little, and her father is working in another city, leaving her grandma to raise her cousin and her. Unfortunately, the family has financial issues after her father was severely injured in a car accident last year.
Whenever volunteers come, they always encourage me to study hard and take care of my family.
Luckily, her father is now recovering well. Volunteers not only care for Zhang Wenya, but also her cousin Chen Runhui.
2 years ago, Tzu Chi volunteers visited my grandma, and they've discovered that I couldn't afford college.
He felt that his family's financial situation is not well, and his parents are not around to take care of the grandma, so he wouldn't go to college.
Volunteers continue to persuade him as well as giving him the needed financial support. Now he's an outstanding student at Hunan Communication Polytechnic and is about to begin his internship in Shenzhen. Both of them are ready to fly high.
27-year-old David was seriously injured in a car accident last year. Due to Mexico's limited medical resources, local Tzu Chi volunteers immediately connected him to our Tima medical team. Now David is able to walk on his own again. What a difference true love and care can bring. Thank you for joining us, and may the spirit of great love keep on spreading around the world. See you next time.